this is how I do it. Is I start with a little bit of a loop up here like this, and I grip that in my hand, and I keep my tag end hanging down just a little bit. And as all I do is I start wrapping this around my hand just like this. So now we can see that we have our rabbit ear and our tag end hanging down just like this. And then just continuously wrap this around. It doesn't have to be pretty, just do it fast. And as what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around my hand, depending on how much paracord you have, of course.
There you go.
I was gonna grab a longer one.
Man,
I was gonna grab a longer one. This is what messed me up.
Now basically you can see that the rest of my paracord is actually touching the ground, and that's pretty much where I want it. So we've got our rabbit ear, we've got our tag in. I'm going to remove this from my hand now and grip it just like this, okay? Now, so what I'm going to do is the excess that I've got hanging, I'm just going to start wrapping it and basically hank this up. And like Travis said, you can make this as tight as you want or as loose as you want. Now, once I get that wrapped up, I'm going to take my excess piece and I'm going to put it through my rabbit ear. And then I'm going to take my tag in and pull it. Okay? So now this thing is good to go. It's not going to unhank. But the great thing about it is where I pulled the rabbit ear tight, I can remove that excess just like this, pull it right out of there. I can hold this in my hand, and now I can just pull my paracord out just like this. Extremely fast, and it's not going to bunch up, not going to knot up on us. It's just a way to keep your paracord hanked up so that way you can pull it out at a moment's notice and line it. Now, something else that I've seen people do is I've seen people do something similar to that, and you could do this with this technique. Is after you do that, a lot of people will put them on their backpack straps. Okay, so then you have it ready, pull it right off. You've got quick access to cordage. Here we are camping, we got diesels coming through here. But anyway.
So one of the common knots that I use a lot is the bowline knot. This is one that I've taught my daughter many times. They've got a lot of sayings on how to do this. The easiest one that I did for my daughter was I told her to take the tag end of it and just kind of let it lay over your hand like this. The long end's going off that direction, the short end coming more towards you. And if you take the piece and turn your hand with your palm, your thumb down like such, you grab the piece, pinch it in your fingers, and then twist it like you're starting your car, like you're turning the key. At this point, then you pinch the cross section of that knot with your thumb, and then grab the tag end right here. You come up out of the garage, around the block, which would be back behind the long tag end, or under it, and then we come right back into the garage, which would be the original hole you came out of. Then you pinch those two together, like such, and grab the long one and pull.
That was pretty simple.
It seems harder than it is, and the greatest thing about this knot that I love is once you put a lot of tension on it, it's easy to get back out, because all you got to do is grab the knot like it almost naturally sits in your hand, and then just break over that knot, and it comes right undone.
And basically you're doing it away from the anchored point, correct?
Exactly. I'm grabbing away from the anchor point. So after I've done that, all this is doing is giving you a leverage point, basically, to pull the rope as tight as you'd like. can just wrench on this thing. And after you've done such, you can just put a little half hitch on that. And I usually like to back that up with another half hitch, just to make it static. A necklace knot is what I usually use. You can just take, for a prusik, you can just take and bend it over and just tie a regular square knot. But I usually do a necklace knot. Don't ask me why. I guess it's just because I like to stay in practice. But basically, if you take that leftover end, pull it over the top, and just tie a regular knot on it. Pull it tight. If you flip it back around to the other side and tie it the exact same way you just did the last side, this is a necklace knot. Sometimes people use it for their necklaces. It'll allow you to slide back and forth to make the necklace longer or shorter. See how the loop will get smaller on you, and when they butt up against each other, it allows it to be a little bit longer knot. But for the prusik, you just have to lay it over and take one end and flip it on the inside. About 3 times. Basically making sure that the one that you pulled on the inside stays on the inside. And we use this knot today to fly up our big tarp, and it allowed us to basically have an anchor point to pull on. Like if you were going to put a tarp on this ridge line, you could put a toggle in here and use it to anchor on, and you can put more tension on your tarp as it's pulling away from you. It works both directions, it doesn't matter. And if you use paracord on top of paracord, a lot of times it'll want to slip on you. It doesn't like to bite it very well, mainly just because it's the same diameter. So
basically you can see that when he puts a lot of pressure on that, it's not sliding. But if he goes up there, releases the pressure, and then pushes it from the opposite end gently, it slides with ease.